Hi there, welcome back to Dan Builds. This is episode number 2. In this episode we're going to cover building the gaskets for the headers, getting the headers in place, bolted up nice and tight, and ready to line up to put the side pipes on. So right, let's get on to it. Okay, right, so each pair of side pipes is held together, as you'll see here. Some some welded studs on the back of the tips there, and tacked on there. I will put a piece of stainless bolted between each. I measured that out carefully to keep just enough of a gap between them they won't touch, but not so much of a gap that it looks, well, I wanted as little gap as possible really. Inside the chassis I've drilled through the fiberglass there and screwed in a rubber stopper here, so that when the pipes are actually in that position, any flex on the pipe is not going to allow them to tap on the fiberglass, damage the paint and make a horrible noise. So as you'll see, the stainless steel here has got a groove cut in the tips of each piece. This is just a mounting setup that I've kind of invented. I'm sure it's been used before. So at the forward end, you'll see here, I've got a rubber mount. This is like a steel plate for the door hinge setup, which you'll see is here. So off the bottom of that, I've drilled, put a cotton reel style rubber mount through there. On the bottom of that there's a stainless bracket that has a bolt pass through it, so that stainless plate, which will come up through the hole here, will pick up either side of that bolt there and allow me to have vertical adjustment on that. This stainless plate underneath has a groove cut in it. Oh, you can't see. Anyway, it has a groove cut, so I'm allowed to move this in and out. So I have full adjustment of the exhaust and the up and down and the in and out plane there to get the line up nice. And similar on the back here. On the back here, it's sort of mounted differently, so you can see where the vertical stainless strip will go underneath that nut, adjust up and down, and this can adjust in and out. You'll see there's a groove in there. There you go, you can see that. And obviously the piece of steel passes up this hole here. Yeah, there's a couple of other holes drilled here because the actual nuts on the back of the there were touching the fiberglass, so I've done the same here. You won't see those when they're in place. Well, that's a piece of a possible position for vibration eliminated. So I shall fit the side pipes now, and then come back to you. Okay, so that's one set of side pipes lined back up approximately. I'm not going to go too into detail of how they're going to fit exactly, because this is just so I can test the headers on the engine. So you'll see how that stainless rod comes up there. You've got the rubber mounts there, and then you'll see this side how it's the same, it's adjusted. Right, so going to fit the headers into the side pipes, which I've just put in place. It's quite clear to me now that I need to put the headers on first, and then the side pipes. And I thought I might have enough leeway, a bit of movement in the side pipes, but no, it appears not. Obviously being an unknown header side pipe combination that's never been done before, yeah, I'm not quite, I'm learning as I go. So I think I need to slack out the retaining bolts on the side pipes, drop them right down to their lowest position. I'll keep them in situ, but just slack, and then have a go at lining these back up. I actually haven't got the headers, the header bolts, so I can't put them on properly, and I'm going to make some gasket for each header flange. So I'll probably make the gasket first. Yeah, let's make some gasket first. What I need actually first, I realised, is a gasket between the headers and the side of the block. So I bought some gasket material the other day, knowing I needed to make them. It's a metal, like a metal gasket, which is about 2 mil thick. It's kind of perforated, not all the way through, but I'm assuming that's how it holds onto the middle structure. The kit came, it's only about a tenner's worth of kit. So it came in a piece and some what looks just like cardboard, which I'm assuming was to protect it. So I'm going to make 8 individuals. So I'll draw around each single one, mark it out, see what the best tool I've got to cut it with, even if it's a pair of snips or I'm not sure. I've also got just a quick Amazon pack of hole cutters, so I can actually knock out the nice clean holes for the bolts, so I've not got messy edges. So I think I'll start on with that now. I'll have the GoPro on so we can do a bit of a time lapse and see what actually happens. I've just had a go with a 10 mil punch and my new gasket material. You can see that it's dented it, but it is not going to go through cleanly, and it's that close to the edge. If I hit it so hard, it's going to peel the material open and expose like the cardboard kind of fibre material in the middle, effectively making it no good as a gasket. So I've got a feeling I'm going to have to drill it, and I'm not sure how well it's going to drill. So yeah, we shall see. Nothing's easy, is it? Yeah, I don't know how else to put holes in it, to be honest. I could potentially put it in a vise. I might try putting it in a vise and winding it slowly with a punch, see if that penetrates. Yeah, here we go. It worked for pressing this with the vise. I was using it as a large press, which didn't cut the best holes. I actually had to finish it off with a hammer for the last bit, but it has worked, and they are in the right place, and they are lined up. However, now I'm not quite sure how easy it's going to be to cut the square hole out internally for the actual exhaust gases to pass through. I'm going to have to think of a better way without destroying this. Yeah, we shall see. It may just be touch it with a grinder on the edges, or small drills. I'll have to have a bit of a test piece and see how it's worked. But I will cut the rest of the holes out now on the other ones once I've marked them up, and yeah, get that done. So I will see you after that. So this is the 4 gaskets for the header for the right hand side of the car, all cut, trimmed, and then the holes have been punched through. I've learned that the cheap set of punches I bought were actually cheap for a reason. I mean, it's blunt as hell now, but it's also bent. I keep bending it back in the vise to use it again. I found that knocking this down on the back of the vise, on the steel there, was way better than using a bit of wood, because the wood was too soft, had too much give. It was bowing before it was splitting. So yeah, now next I'll mark out the holes for this section. work out whereabouts they're going to be, and then see about cutting those. Ideally, I'd like to just use a grinder just to cut the verticals on the straight lines, and then just use a hole punch to round the corners. We'll see how that happens. Not quite sure what I'll do yet. Right, welcome back. This is actually the next day. I've just finished making the gaskets for the exhaust headers for one side, for the left-hand side. So now what I'm going to do is try and have a test fit, and I'll take you over there and we shall put them onto the engine, see how they look. Right, so this is the left-hand side of the engine where we've got the exhaust headers ready to come on, and we've got the gaskets I've just made. So what I'll do first is remove the dipstick bolt, just get this out of the way for the moment. Take the tape off, which I've had on there since it was built, to keep some crap out of the engine. And then, yeah, we'll offer them up, put some bolts in and see how he's set. Okay, I'll try and show you the issue I've just found in this rear header. That corner actually blocks the way the spark plug is supposed to go. The other ones have all got a cut off on the steel. So I'll mark this one up and then trim this one down and check the other side. Maybe it's just some error and when the guys made the headers for me. Right, you see down there now, I've just trimmed. There we go, that flange has been trimmed back, so there should be clear access for a spark plug, which I'll actually just put one in and just test that it works. And then I can move on again to putting the gaskets in and then fixing both pairs of headers on.